Well, Ben, typically we tend to see lower voter turnout for the primaries, and this year there weren't many races. There was the heat, and then of course still the lingering effects of the pandemic. But the expectation is that we're going to see a lot more people head to the polls for the election. Connecticut's Democratic and Republican primaries didn't bring large crowds out to the polls, but thousands of people still made sure their voices were heard.
At the end of the day, I think it was a great day for democracy in Connecticut. All the polls were open, there were no incidents reported, and about 170,000 citizens in Connecticut lined up together and voted, and it went well.
Still, turnout was a bit lower than previous years. About 15% of registered Democrats voted, and about 21% of registered Republicans, down from 17% and 25% in 2021, and 35% and 23% in 2020. In Connecticut, only people registered with a party can vote in their primaries.
About 42% of Connecticut's voters could not vote yesterday because they're unaffiliated.
Some are advocating for that to change, arguing it's among the reasons why we tend to see such few people show up for primary elections.
The primaries are taxpayer-funded, private primaries, where only those in the parties can vote. And that excludes the largest block of voters in the state, the unaffiliated voters.
As well as when these elections are held.
Having a primary in August in the middle of summer vacations is ludicrous. I mean, if the parties really wanted to have big turnout, they would change it to a time when more people would be in Connecticut and able to get to the ballot box.
The Connecticut Citizens Action Group says it's hopeful the election in November will see much higher numbers, driven by issues at the top of voters' minds.
I think turnout will be high in November, whether it be the elimination of Roe v. Wade to the January 6th will be a motivating factor for both sides of the aisle.
They plan on doing outreach efforts to encourage as many people to vote as possible.
Voting is the cornerstone of a democracy.
The advocates that I spoke to tonight also had some other ideas like ranked choice voting and early voting to get more people to vote and to make voting more accessible. Live at the state capitol, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.